Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Alberta News and Views. Today, I'm talking about mortgages and the inflation rate. Now, I have a lot of ground to cover, so please bear with me. I'm just going to jump right into this. It is just crazy what's going on in Canada. It really is. So Stats Canada today said that Canada's inflation rate has fallen to 2.7% in April, driving up odds of a June rate cut. Now, the reason it is lowering is because of food. Now, food is driving inflation lower, but groceries are much more costly than a few years ago, and that is the important part. Now, the agency reported that inflation on groceries was just 1.4% in April. Cooling inflation on products like meat, fruit, seafood, and non-alcoholic beverages helped overall inflation tick lower to 2.7%, down from 2.9% in April. However, slowing inflation doesn't mean the price growth of the past several years is being erased. Now, that is the important part. Between April 2021 and April 2024, grocery prices have increased 21.4%, Stats Canada has said. Consumers are still grappling with that significant increase, said RBC analyst Irene Nattel in a note. That 21.4% for grocery prices, that is the reality. This is what Chrystia Freeland doesn't see. This is the reality for all of us. We all know that inflation has grown well over 21.4% on everything. We're going to watch a clip with Chrystia Freeland and Pierre Poilievre in question period today. It was just absolutely bonkers. Despite several months of good news on the inflation front, June is still a close call, said BMO chief economist Douglas Porter in a note, adding that any cuts from the Bank of Canada will be gradual. People have no idea how bad the mortgage situation is in Canada. This is from Better Dwelling. Not a lot of people know this, so please share it. Canada is spending 75% of its forecast deficit to prop up mortgages. This is from March 18th, 2024. If you've ever thought that using a payday loan to pay off a credit card was a good idea, you are about to be all kinds of impressed. The government of Canada has begun buying billions in Canada mortgage bonds in a last-ditch effort to stimulate more borrowing. Another way to say that is in a last-ditch effort to stimulate the economy. The planned purchases are equivalent to 3/4 of the cash the federal government is forecast to borrow this year. In addition to recklessly stimulating the market, the economy, it serves as a huge warning sign that Canada is unable to find global investment to support its economy. Yikes. Moving on. Here is Senator Don Plett. This is from today. Trudeau is not worth the cost. A Bank of Canada report released earlier this month shows Canadians are already struggling to pay their mortgages. They may fall further behind over the next 2 years. The Bank of Canada says about half of all outstanding mortgages are held by borrowers who have yet to face higher rates. By 2026, the median monthly cost for Canadians with a variable rate mortgage and fixed payments is projected to rise by over 60%. Now you see just how bad our mortgage housing crisis is in Canada. There's not enough houses, and the houses they are building, no one can afford to buy them. And the houses that people are living in, they won't be able to afford them. Can you afford a projected increase of 60%? According to the Bank of Canada, even mortgage holders with fixed rates will see their payments increase. They are projected to climb by 20% next year and in 2026. Does the Trudeau government honestly think families can afford this? How many Canadians are going to lose their homes? Check this out.
Leader, a Bank of Canada report released earlier this month shows Canadians already struggling to pay mortgages may fall further behind over the next 2 years. The Bank of Canada says about half of all outstanding mortgages are held by borrowers who have yet to face higher rates. By 2026, the median monthly cost for Canadians with a variable rate mortgage and fixed payments is projected to rise by over 60%, Leader. This is the consequences of the Trudeau government's inflationary spending and taxes, isn't it, Leader? What do you think is going to happen to those families?
Senator Gold.
Well, thank you for your question with regard to mortgages. The government has taken important measures to protect homeowners with the Strengthen Canada Mortgage Charter, which builds on the government's existing guidance and expectations for how financial institutions are to work with Canadians to provide tailored relief. And as interest rates continue to decline, as the government predicted it would, despite skepticism from other quarters, I am advised that more than 99% of mortgage holders in Canada are in good standing. Mortgage delinquencies in Canada have remained consistently low and are at their lowest level in decades, just 0.16% on average in 2023. That's a 55% decrease compared to 2014. Things may be difficult and are difficult for individual Canadians, but it is not because of the government's support in this area at all.
Senator Plett.
Only because of this government. He is absolutely not worth the cost. Thank you for helping me with that. Let's do that together now. According to the Bank of Canada, even mortgage holders with fixed rates will see their payments increase. They are projected to climb by 20% next year and in 2026. Does the Trudeau government honestly think families can afford this leader? How many Canadians are going to lose their homes?
Senator Gold.
Thank you for your question. The government of Canada has demonstrated and will continue to demonstrate its support for Canadians, homeowners, those seeking to acquire their first homes, and to renters. There is a suite of programs in place that the government has brought forward to assist Canadians, and they will continue to be there for Canadians.
They're doing whatever they can to ensure that people stay in their homes because it is going to collapse. It's only a matter of time. Question period today was absolutely bonkers. Check this out.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Not only does the incompetent finance minister not know the inflation target, she doesn't know that you lock in low rates when you have the chance. Remember the Prime Minister was saying, don't worry, we can double the national debt because interest rates are low. Yep. Glenn, problem is, I told him at the time that they should lock in those rates for 10 years or 30 years with long-term bonds. It turns out they didn't do that, and now $400 billion of that debt will roll over into these higher rates, forcing Canadians to spend more on interest than on health care. Why did he hire the worst mortgage broker in the world to be our finance minister?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
It's clear that the Conservative leader is in a grouchy mood today. And I think we all know why. The only thing he knows how to do is talk down Canada. And what he just cannot bear is the reality that thanks to our fiscally responsible economic plan, inflation is at a 3-year low. That's right. Inflation has been within the range for 4 months in a row. That's good news for Canada and Canadians.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Think that you pay down debt by borrowing more, that you stop inflation by printing money, and that you fight the drug overdose crisis by legalizing hard drugs. So at least they're consistent in their irrationality, Mr. Speaker. But now they've been forced to backtrack right before the election on their legalization of hard drugs because Canadians are revolting against the policy. Today we have a motion that will be voted in the House to permanently ban hard drugs. Will this government vote for that motion, or will they admit that they plan to legalize drugs again after the next election?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, the Conservative leader is wearing more makeup than I am today. Now, I think it's wonderful.
Unreal.
I'm going to ask colleagues. Prime Minister and Minister of Finance to withdraw that comment. We don't comment on the appearances of members. The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, I'm sorry, I withdraw that comment.
Can continue with her. She has 25 seconds left on the clock for her answer.
Just a game.
The fact is, Mr. Speaker, the Conservative leader is phony all the way through. He is phony when it comes to his concern about the economy. All he can do is talk our country down. And he is phony when he talks about his concern about the opioids crisis. He tries to score cheap partisan points. It's just not right, Mr. Speaker.
That's right.
The Honourable.
Unbelievable. All the Liberals have left now is just fear and smear, and now they are just name calling. Canada is not a serious country, and I cannot stand the federal government. All the roads lead to Western independence. All the prairie provinces, the Atlantic provinces, everybody, all of the provinces need to break away from this federal government. It is not a serious democracy. It is unbelievable. This controlled, planned demolition. This government has ran the country into the ground. I have no idea if Pierre Poilievre will be able to fix all of this. Any rational thinking Canadian can sit back and look at what's happening in Canada and come to the same conclusion that it is going to collapse. It has to. Education, healthcare, housing, all of it is in crisis mode. On top of that, there's the drugs and the crime. It truly is astounding. I will keep you updated with all of this as much as I can when I can. All of you out there, like, share, and take care.